Hi, brother teacher here. I just want to take a moment and speak on a subject that has been the topic of controversy and uh, discussion uh, for several years now as it relates to a speed demonstration with the late great Bruce Lee and Grandmaster Victor Moore in the 60s uh, at Ed Parker's tournament in California. Now, let me say this first and foremost. Uh, this is for the trolls, the Victor Moore fans, Victor Moore students and followers. Here is where the rubber meets the road. First of all, most people that know me, know of me, know that I am not malicious in my intent. They know that I'm very honorable when it concerns martial arts and everything in life for the most part. So it is not my intent to try to discredit anyone, to try to nullify any accomplishments that any other person or individual has made in life. That's never my intent. And if there was any malice in my heart, I wouldn't be making this statement if that was true. So, what I'm saying in essence is this: oftentimes, people get caught up in their feelings and they can't accept another individual's viewpoint or uh, critical opinions or viewpoints, constructive criticism, if you will. And this has been one of those subjects that I spoke on several years ago, almost 6 years, I believe it was, when I posted my first video that Victor Moore has never beat Bruce Lee. Now, I'm giving you a little bit of a backstory so that you can have a better position to sum up your own conclusion. It's not about who's the best and who's the worst. It's about my viewpoint, which is shared by many others. And then there's some on the other side of the fence that don't believe in my conclusion or analysis. So, with that said, Bruce Lee, as we all know, has been uh, deemed to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, martial artist of the 20th and the 21st century. I didn't do it. I did not bestow that honor upon him. My instructors didn't bestow that honor upon him. Hollywood alone did not bestow that honor upon him. The world bestowed that honor upon him. And just because it is not your name that was knighted, so to speak, you just have to get over it. And just because he is an Asian that rose to fame worldwide as it relates to martial arts motion pictures and martial arts in general, you just have to get over it. That's just the way it happened. So now, with that said, I want to say this. I have the greatest respect for Grandmaster Victor Moore. I know Master Moore. Master Moore was the instructor of some of my instructors. Master Moore was the instructor of some other instructors that I know intimately. He was a very proficient, very diligent trainee and practitioner of Shuri Karate coming up under Robert Trias. And I'm aware of this. My hat goes off to him for all of the accomplishments that he has made in the martial arts world. But with that said, you must be able to humble yourself and give other people their proper credit or due. Now, I met Grandmaster Moore when I was a child. Before I officially start studying in a martial arts school, I was studying privately with my uncle and a friend before I officially was uh, enrolled in a school. Grandmaster Moore is the individual who knew my mother. He met my mother. He called me on the phone, and his words to me was, "I beat Bruce Lee." He didn't say speed contest. He didn't say a competition. He said, "I beat Bruce Lee." Those were his words to me. Now, me as a young teenager, I took it for face value, what he said at that particular time, because I had never known him prior to that particular day. Now, people are saying, well, teacher, you was not in California. How do you know that Victor Moore blocked Bruce Lee's punches or not? You wasn't there. Grandmaster so-and-so was there, and they know that he blocked it. Well, you wasn't there when Master Moore told me that he beat Bruce Lee. That's my own personal experience with Grandmaster Moore. Now, he signed me up for the USKA back in the 70s. I can see why he would have made a general statement that he beat Bruce Lee and not tell me at the time that it was a speed contest. I can see why he would make a general statement that he beat Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee was the name. Bruce Lee was the household word, or word I should say. Bruce Lee was an individual rising in stardom. He was known in the Green Hornet as Kato, and he had began his first motion pictures already, Fist of Fury, Chinese Connection, and so forth. So I can see why he would have wanted to say that I beat Bruce Lee, because he took an event that was a speed test, and because it was the famous Bruce Lee that he was engaging in this contest with, he sort of embellished the truth. We all have done that at some point in time. And this is not to beat up on Grandmaster Victor Moore. I'm saying this again. So now, as I said, I have the greatest respect for Grandmaster Moore. And here in recent months, I've seen a new video surface. And it is titled, "Block This. Victor Moore versus Bruce Lee. Vic Moore and Bruce Lee revisited." And again, it's showing the speed contest. I don't know what the purpose is. I believe whoever produced this particular video clip wants us to believe that there's something different about the original videotape that we saw that wasn't true. Now, in this particular videotape, I still see what I saw in the earlier videotape, and that was that Bruce Lee threw several punches at Master Moore's face. Master Moore attempted to block the punches, and he missed. And you can tell by his body language that he said, "Oh, shucks," or "darn," that he missed the punch, blocking the punch, in other words. And then he humbly shook Bruce Lee's hand, bowed, and backed up out of the ring. That's not an indication of someone who blocked Bruce Lee's punch. That's an indication of someone who knew that they lost and they took it respectfully, at least at that time. But here, over the past several years, I've heard people saying Vic Moore beat Bruce Lee. You need to clarify what you're saying when you say beat Bruce Lee. It was not a fight. It was not a sparring session. It was a speed contest. And let me say this in all honesty and to be fair. Even if Master Moore blocked Bruce Lee's punches, it wouldn't mean anything to me if that's what the outcome was. I'm going by the video, I'm going by what was told to me, and I'm going by what Master Moore has said. Master Moore said that he blocked Bruce Lee's punches. The video says that he did not. And Master Moore seemed to have brought up other uh, instances that occurred during that same day he said, apart from what we saw on video, saying that he said, well, let me throw a punch at you. And Bruce Lee didn't block his punches. And he said he touched Bruce Lee. We haven't seen that footage. So all we have is his word. I'm not going to say he did or did not do it. I just know that we don't have video evidence of that. But what we do have evidence of is the fact that Master Moore, Grandmaster Moore, missed Bruce Lee's punches at him in his attempt to block them. And that was it. And that was all, really. We don't have to keep beating this dead horse. Did he block the punches? If he blocked them, it would have been fine. If he didn't block them, it would have been fine. I think the fact that you had the experience with Bruce Lee should be enough to put in your portfolio, in your archives, and say, I did this with one of the greatest martial artists of all time. But Master Moore insisted on calling him just an actor. That's on tape. Many times, many instances, he called Bruce Lee this kid, this actor. You mean the actor? I did not appreciate that, just as a fellow martial artist. And the reason I say I didn't appreciate that, because if I said that the world has deemed Bruce Lee as the greatest martial artist of all time, they didn't deem him as the greatest actor. It's martial artist. So that would mean that all of the work, all of the training, all of the books, all of the manuscripts, all of the students that he has acquired during the time that he was living, and all of the people that are following him today, and all of the Jeet Kune Do and Jun Fan schools all over the world, it would all be in vain if he was just simply an actor. And I think that speaks volumes. It speaks for itself. Let's be honest and let's stop playing games. You guys that are martial artists, that are true martial artists, especially those that are baby boomers who came up around the time of Bruce Lee, and even in the 60s when I was born, and through the 70s and so forth. Let's stop playing games and be honest with ourselves, and sit on your egos and sit on your pride and just admit it. Bruce Lee was that great of a martial artist. Now, I've also heard Master Moore say that, well, he never won a championship. He never competed in tournaments. Okay, let's say this. Or the sport karate tournaments that was occurring during that time that Master Moore participated in, and even the ones that I participated in throughout my career, were they to the death? So how could you tell who was the best? They were, and they still are, a point system. You still have judges, you still have referees, you have scorekeepers, you have a timekeeper, and you have rules and regulations. So you really can't say who you can beat and who's the champion. You could have scored points on someone, but they probably would have beat you in a real street fight. That's all I'm saying. So let's stop confusing sport martial arts tournaments as a way to define whether or not a person can really fight. Now, could Master Moore, Grandmaster Moore, fight during that time, even outside of the karate tournament? I believe 100% that he could. I've heard the stories about his exploits in the street. I know that he was a great fighter. I know he was. I can't take that away from him. That's who he is. But we are talking about a man that devoted his life to training in the martial arts as well, Bruce Lee. A man who amassed over 2,000 books on virtually every fighting art or system in the world, who studied these things, who trained these things, who had this equipment specially made for him to develop his speed, his power, his strength. This man ate, slept, and defecated martial arts. That's who Bruce Lee was. And it is the thing that caused his sudden demise. He was fanatical about martial arts. And anyone that knows him, that's still living through his lineage, his family, his older students, Dan and Asanto, and so forth, they know that Bruce Lee was the truth. And this does not take anything away from anyone else, to include Grandmaster Moore. So, did he block Bruce Lee's punch? I still say no. Does it matter? No. But again, when you start making statements that have video footage to support something totally different, we have to really consider what is and what is not the truth. So, I love Bruce Lee. I'm not a Bruce Lee fanboy, as some have touted. Some brother teacher haters, if you will, or trolls. I don't idolize Bruce Lee. When I was a child, I did, because I didn't know any difference. I respect him and his legacy and his accomplishments in the martial arts. But just the same, I respect Grandmaster Moore as well. That was really it, and that was all. And I want to encourage all of my martial arts brothers and sisters to be true to yourself, be true to the martial arts doctrine, the martial arts code, and that is one simply of honesty, humility, courage, tenacity, and never stop training. And always remember this: no matter what your rank is, how much you have achieved in the martial arts, you are still a student until the day you close your eyes for the last time. That's how I see it. This is Brother Teacher. So long.